Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Glory Glory Man United podcast. I'm your host, as always, Kyle Quinn, and join me today is Brushy. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. 3 points in the bag. Happy days.
Yeah, we get to talk about a rare win this weekend. There may not be many of those this season, so we're going to cherish this and have a happy podcast for a change. So United beating Brentford 2-1 at Old Trafford yesterday. Um, it was an absolutely shocking first half. I was absolutely bored to tears. Uh, and then Brentford scored at the end. The controversial goal with Delict being told for the third time by the referee to go get his blood cleaned up from his head. I have to say the United medical team made an absolute mess of that. And we've seen the footage of Delict absolutely furious when Ethan Pinnock scored. Although he was Dallow's man and Dallow did a poor job of marking him, Delict being in the middle might have made a difference. Uh, and Van Nistelrooy was booked and Ten Hag was booked. And seemingly it spurred on United in the second half, who were by far the better team, even by Thomas Frank's own admission. United were the better team in the second half, and our quality players really stepped up, didn't they, Brush?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a game of two halves, wasn't it? Like you say, the first half, it was an absolute shambles. Diabolical stuff from the medical team for a player to not have, that wound seen to and properly bandaged up on three separate occasions is an absolute joke. And I don't blame the referee because obviously he couldn't stay on the pitch at that time, right? Because with just blood pouring down his face. By the letter of the law, I don't think you can let that slide either. So I don't blame that on the referee. Definitely, our medical team need to take the brunt of the criticism for that. And just our luck, Sod's law. He goes off, and then boom, we concede down to 10. And yeah, but like you say, Dallo really should have been picking up his man. Pinnock flew past, and Dallo was just a bystander. So at that stage, based on what we saw in that first half, I wasn't too sure about what we were going to do in the second, to be honest. But credit to the lads, they stepped up. We played much better in the second half. I was very, very impressed with the finish by Hoyland and the ball in by Bruno. Wonderful composure, I thought Hoyland showed. The ball, the vision as well, it was brilliant. But still, we're very wasteful. There was a lot of chances that we should have taken. I'm sure we'll talk about Xerxes at some point. Uh, just, you know, it looks as if we've got ourselves a younger Weghorst.
Yeah, we'll start off with the positives.
Yeah,
So the first goal um, was Alejandro Garnacho, a volley from Marcus Rashford channeling his inner David Beckham with that cross, and Garnacho with the first time volley at the back stick,
and I'll
and
tell you what, with Garnacho, yeah, the kid does not give up. Whenever you think he's down and out, he doesn't let that, dissuade him from trying, and he would just keep trying. Because in that first half, there was two chances that he had. The first one, he kind of rushed it. Mm, Probably being a bit harsh if I say he could have crossed it in, because when you look at who he had to aim for, it was pretty much just Hoyland, and he was marked out the game. And then there was a second shot which was on target, but it was a bit tame. So for some other players that might have affected their confidence, but not Alejandro.
no, definitely not. Even if he misses the target or with several shots and has several shots saved, he will still take on another shot.
And what a
And
finish as well. Oh,
yeah, brilliant first time volley, and keeper had no chance. But yeah, he had a couple of shots saved during the game, and he had other ones where he missed the target, but he didn't let that affect him. Yeah, and it was almost the Garnacho show at times. He wasn't really. Anytime he
hmm
picked up the ball, he was running at the defense, and then he was going to shoot. We all knew he was going to shoot. He wasn't going to pick out a teammate. Um, it was kind of a performance kind of remind me of Ronaldo in his first stint at United when he was playing on the left, just cutting in all the time and shooting.
Yep.
Um, and hopefully Garnacho gets to that level. But certainly,
Listen, if he if he's half the player,
yeah,
I'll be very happy.
yeah, yeah. If he's even 40%
Yeah,
of Cristiano
we will
Ronaldo,
take
then
that all day, every
yeah,
day.
yeah. But definitely a positive day yesterday for Garnacho, and Hoyland as well. Our number nine scoring a beautiful chip after a lovely move between Ericsson and Bruno. And Ericsson, I think, was involved in the first goal as well. He played the ball out to
Yeah.
Rashford, although it was more of a Rashford assist than anything else. But
Hmm.
Ericsson, as modern football fans like to say, Ericsson got two pre-assists yesterday. Um, but yeah, fantastic to see a number nine score like that. And Van Nistelrooy's been getting some of the credit for it, which I don't really agree with
Mm.
because we've seen Hoyland score a goal like that last season as well, maybe a couple of them. Um, but Hoyland has said, more than once now, and I think he said it yesterday after the game, that he's very very happy being coached by Van Nistelrooy, and he
Ah, I
couldn't ask
bet
for
he
better.
is.
And yeah, and he's going to learn things from him that maybe he didn't know before. And hopefully United will reap the benefits of that. And yesterday was what I was really pleased about with him, apart from the goal, is that rather than jostling with defenders all the time, but he seems to do an awful lot with his back to goal, that he's just getting the ball to feet and making things happen this time, and
Hmm.
not getting involved in physical tussles with defenders, which quite often he comes off second best in those. So I really was pleased with his overall performance. Not quite sure about the celebration though, pointing to his name and number, because when you scored your first Premier League goal of the season in October, I don't think that's the time. When he goes on like a a scoring run, then he can do that. He
Maybe
can be arrogant like that.
maybe it was just a reminder that he still exists.
Yeah, but I didn't subscribe to the criticism that he was getting just before the international break. People saying that both him and Xerxes are not good enough. For me,
Yeah.
Holland is streets ahead of Xerxes as a number nine, as a striker.
Hmm.
And Xerxes, we saw that when he came on for Holland, is a substitution that I hated. But I think it's the manager wanting to protect Holland because he has picked up a lot of muscular injuries, so he didn't want him to
Definitely,
play.
and you need to rotate your strikers. You can't just have one man playing every minute.
Yeah, and I think that affected Holland last season, both in terms of his
Yeah,
form
I
and
think
his
the only
fitness.
issue we have now, though, Carl, is that the two strikers are so different, so you can't really make a like for like change. You
No.
know, because I think Xerxes, what he offers is totally different. So if you can't just keep the same system and just sub on one for the other.
So what exactly does Xerxes offer then, Brush? I'm being
Well,
facetious, but
this is the $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, he's a self-professed 9.5, and he's not a proper nine. He's not a 10. So what is he? Personally, I think if you want to get the best out of him, he could probably benefit from playing alongside Hoyland, off of another striker maybe. But I don't know. The best
yeah,
way I could describe him is he gives me. He's like from what I've seen, he's a combination of. There's elements of Marouane Fellaini there. He also reminds me of Victor Anichebe. And for those that remember this guy at Sunderland, he had a disastrous spell. This young American by the name of Jose Altidore. Um, he's like a mixture of the three of them. Whenever I see him,
that's not
make
very
of
complimentary.
make of that what you will. It's one of those.
And the drop off in quality yesterday when he came on was huge
Yeah.
compared to Hoyland. Uh, Lots of fans are not impressed. He's
Hmm.
missed so many easy chances. He probably scored his most difficult chance in the first game against Fulham.
And even that could have been fumbled because obviously Scotty was there. They could have
Yeah,
just got in each other's way. If he wasn't there, I'm pretty sure Scotty would have finished that. So
yeah. It's not. To be honest, this is what I said yesterday after seeing the United game live and watching the highlights of the other games. I would rather we had have signed Donny Wilbeck in the summer than Joshua Xerxes. What's your thoughts, Brush?
and again, he just can't stop scoring, can he? I was somewhat sarcastically
Yeah,
watching yesterday and saying, you know what, bring the boy home.
yeah, but
Especially when
there's
you see
still,
especially when you see what we've got out of Johnny Evans, who again, I was applauding him yesterday. Another masterful performance by him.
and that was a brilliant striker's goal against Newcastle. Came against the run of play as well,
Yeah,
and he had won the game for them.
yeah, going strong, going strong.
scoring at 1-on-1, which you love to see your number 9 do,
Hmm.
and hold off the defense in the process, and slap the ball home past the keeper. And yeah, as you say, he's on a scoring run at the moment, Danny Welbeck, and probably as good as he's ever been. And
Yep.
he's still younger than what Ronaldo was when he came back. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't have mind having him as an alternative to Hoyland.
As
Joshua Zirkzee
yeah,
just
yeah,
doesn't impress me at all.
vastly experienced as well, isn't he? And he can hold up the ball and do a lot of things. Yeah, Zerks. Obviously, I understand. New striker coming into a new league, it's going to take time to adapt and whatnot. But some of his touches and the lack of finishing, it's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really poor, and you know,
Mm.
and his profile is, his most prolific season is 12 goals in
Yeah,
Serie
but
A.
this is the other thing, though, Carl. So I don't know how much we can critique him, and how much of it is really on management for highlighting him as the guy. Like I do think there's a different system which would suit him, and I don't think we play to his strengths. But yeah,
Yeah, and I don't
that's what it
see
is.
any way in which he's going to play alongside Hoyland, because you'll have to
Mm,
drop a midfielder to do that and play four four
yeah,
two basically, and it's not going to happen.
Uh,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or you do away with the wingers, and we don't have the wing backs or anything else. So it's kind of crazy.
I certainly wouldn't be trying to accommodate him in the team given how he's
Yeah,
played this season.
yeah.
Um,
Because that's the thing. Because he can't. Because as much as he likes to drop back, he's not a 10, is he? And you wouldn't sacrifice one of the midfielders to drop him into the 10.
no, you definitely wouldn't.
Yeah.
And Hoyland's going to play
Hmm.
9 out of 10 games. Um, Xerxes might get a look in the League Cup against Leicester or something, but
Listen, this first season, maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs the cup runs.
but at the moment, I'm not hopeful this is going to be a successful signing. If I'm being
Yeah.
brutally honest, I can see if we replace Ten Hag during the season or at the end of the
Hmm.
season, and the new guy comes in, I can see him
Yeah.
saying, "I want a number 9. Xerxes not for
Yeah.
me." That's my prediction.
Yeah. The thing is, I think his stock will still be quite high in Serie A. So come the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if there's interest from there.
Yeah, let's wait and see. But
Hmm.
what did you make of the Garnacho playing on the left, kind of being the main man, and Rashford playing on the right? Now, like, it worked. We got the win. Garnacho was probably man of the match, but you kind of sacrificing the best part of Rashford's game there, because both of them are very good on the left, but only Garnacho, I think, is good on the right. Albeit,
Yeah.
Rashford did get an assist from a right wing cross,
Hmm.
but we weren't seeing the Rashford of the first half in Porto. He wasn't able to do that yesterday because he's not playing in his preferred position. So, what did you make of that tactical decision?
Yeah, just as you say, but it's one of those where, again, personally, I'm not a huge fan of Rashford on the right hand side. I think you nullify a lot of his game by playing him there. But then, you can't really question it when he pops up with with the assist the way he did. So I guess that goes down as a masterful thing by the manager. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's a weird one that I was actually quite surprised. I was surprised not to see Ahmad at all as well. Actually, I thought at some point he would have come on the right hand side.
No, he didn't get used yesterday.
Hmm.
Xerxes obviously came on for Hoyland, and then the only other
Yeah,
subs I think were to see out the game
Mazraoui
when Lindelof and
and
Mazraoui came
Ugarte.
on.
Yeah, yeah, and
I forgot he
Ugarte.
even came
Yeah,
on, to be honest.
and the Ugarte one. I'm a bit baffled because I can't lie to you. When I saw the team sheet yesterday, I was like, wow, we've got Ericsson and Casemiro starting together, just no legs. But yeah, Ericsson. Yeah, I was pleased with Ericsson's performance. The only downside, really, if I had to critique anything, I know he was offside, but you have to hit the target with that shot that he had in the first.
Yeah, given some of the quality goals that he scored this season, I'm amazed he
Yeah,
missed the target there.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He was definitely saved for the fact that he was offside and that, but no, 9 out of 10. No, all day, every day, you got to hit the target at least. You know.
I've got to be honest though, that very, very mature midfield, you cannot play that against the top teams in the league,
No,
in my
you can't.
opinion. Or we're going
You
to.
absolutely can't, and there's no legs there. And then this is the thing though, because even with Ugarte, like he's a screen, and he's good at the tackling and the 5 yard passes, but he doesn't offer you legs there either, really.
No, not really. There's not a great deal of pace in midfield. Even,
No, the
you know,
only one that can really, put the shift in that you kind of need for that balance is Mason Mount, but he's always injured every other week, isn't he?
yeah, some people were giving him stick because Delict was determined to play on with the gash on his
Hmm.
head. Yet Mason Mount came off with a similar injury. What
Yeah.
did you make of that? And hasn't played
I
since.
mean, different instances, different people, different personalities. All I will say is when we see the sacrifices that the likes of a Delit makes, it makes us, warm to them even more.
Yeah, so there did come a point that it was like, oh, just bring Lindelof on and substitute him. I'm just getting sick of this now. But it wasn't his fault. It was the medical team's fault, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
they've,
absolutely. It was an absolute joke. I felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for him.
yeah, yeah, and even at half time when they obviously were able to do more work on it,
Hmm.
still didn't put a bandage on his head, which I
No,
expected. I thought he was going to come out like Terry
and you,
Butcher in the second half.
yeah, same. I was expecting the wraparound, but we didn't see that either. And you could see how pissed off he was when Pinnock scored.
Oh yeah, massively, and the whole bench was pissed off and yellow cards galore.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it seemed to spur him on and everybody else on in the
Hmm.
second half. I thought he had a really good game again.
Definitely.
He's had a few mixed performances now. It must be
Hmm.
said. He's very poor against Porto, but in the league games against the likes of Southampton, yesterday against Brentford, um, and when he came on against Villa, I thought he was good. So yeah, he's had a bit of an up and down start, but yesterday was definitely
There's
positive.
there's definitely a player there, isn't there? And this is the thing for me. Like, even if he doesn't reach those heady heights, it's still a solid rotational option. And we've got to remember we still got Lenny Euro to come back as well, and we've
Yeah,
not really seen him. So yeah, when he returns, yeah, that'll be interesting. The only real shortage we have is that left back. Really, can't afford Mazraoui or Dallo to get injured. Um, as for Luke Shaw, I hear he's on his way back, but I'm not holding my breath. We don't know how long we're going to have him for, even if he does return.
I've heard, I've heard that he's back in training, and then somebody else said that he's not actually training at all, and don't expect to
Hmm.
see him anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that one. Maybe Malacia could be closer to a comeback than him, but it's
And then
Martinez filled
again,
in yesterday.
Kyle again with Malasia. This is a guy who hasn't played. He hasn't kicked a ball in over a
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
So
we
what are
have
we
to sign someone in
expecting?
January. We have to sign someone in
Yeah,
January. It's simple as that.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. There's no way. We might even have to loan out Malasia in January in order for him to
Yeah.
regain
Well,
fitness and you know.
if if we do sign someone, then we can afford to do that.
Yes.
And a player that is being linked is Alvaro Fernandez of Benfica, who we just sold to them in the summer
Yes.
after a loan spell.
Yes.
But United can get him very cheap compared to other
Buyback
clubs.
clause in it. What
Yeah,
is it, around 16.5 million or something? Which
yeah,
in this market is reasonable, isn't it? And he's obviously he counts as homegrown as well. I'm not mad at the deal initially because he needed that spell at Benfica to develop, and he's gone on to develop. So if he comes back, I won't have any
yeah.
qualms.
I think if we're going to do it, we need to do it in January because the
Yes,
the vultures are circling. Uh,
absolutely. There's interest from elsewhere. So yeah, if you wait till the summer, then
so he would cost Madrid, Barcelona, or Liverpool like over 40 million pounds, whereas
yeah.
United can get it for 16.5 million because of the buyback clause. So
Hmm.
if I'm sure United scouts are watching him and they feel that he's developed to the point where he's worth buying back, then you should get that
Yeah.
done. Because that is the position we need someone so desperately, probably arguably even more so than a striker, because Hoyland is pretty decent.
Absolutely, absolutely no, because because that was the one thing that annoyed me about our transfer window. As far as first transfer windows go, I didn't think it was too bad at all. But yeah, I thought it was imperative they got a left back in, even if it was on loan. I would have taken Regulon back. That was the situation we were in. About the only person we've been linked to that I'm not too enthusiastic about is Ben Chilwell, because I had a few of those rumors circulating, and I was like, why? So he can give Luke company in the medical room.
Yeah, we'd end up becoming the first club to have three left backs injured at the same time.
None of them available. Yeah. And then I'm still baffled by the Dallo situation, because this is a player who a lot of people say, is one of the most improved players at United last season, but he achieved that playing at right back. Why are you then switched him to the left?
Right, I just want to come on to that then. So he played on the right yesterday with
Hmm.
Martinez a left back. Um, was at fault for the goal in my opinion, but as you seen, he's able to get forward quite a lot on the right hand side. Looks a better
Yeah.
player going forward when he's playing on the right because he's right footed. He was clean through though and should have scored, which he didn't.
Yep.
Um, no matter what fullback position he plays in, he spends more time in midfield or up front than he does
Hmm.
actually at fullback. But if he wants out of the talent that he has, then he has to play on the right, and that's what we
He
saw
has to play
yesterday.
on the
So I
right hand
think
side. Yeah, yeah,
we should stick with that going forward. And
absolutely. And Mazraoui has experience playing on the left as well, so it
he
kind of
does.
shocked me as to why Dallo was the one moved out of position.
But see, Ten Hag always does the opposite to what you'd expect him to do. And we
Yeah.
touched on the Garnacho playing on the left and Rashford on the right. That was the
Hmm.
opposite, is what you'd expect, isn't it? And yet he always does it.
But yeah, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
He likes to
and
keep us and the opposition on our toes.
subbing both centre backs, you don't see that very often, but Ten Hag does it.
Yeah.
Uh, so Johnny Evans again, who was brilliant alongside Delict and
Hmm.
limited Brentford's opportunities, and Johnny Evans alongside a young centre back is the perfect blend in my opinion. He's got the experience, and
Yep.
the younger guy's got the obviously is going to be a bit quicker, whether it be Lanier or Delict. And Delict's got a huge physical presence as well. And
Hmm.
yeah, there was some people were asking. We've got lots of options down centre back when everybody's available. Um, and some people on social media were saying, who would your pairing be once everybody is fit? And people were saying Lenny Yarrow and Johnny Evans. And I
Mm.
couldn't disagree with that. That's probably what I would go with. And
I
obviously you
would
can't.
need to see more of Lenny before I comment.
Yeah, we're just basing it on that Rangers game in pre-season
Oh, jeez.
and his
I
reputation.
remember. Yeah, yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, a lot of our fans getting giddy over the amount of goals got Martial scored against Liverpool on pre-season. So
Yeah,
I need to see more of Lenny. But yeah, I am looking forward to his return. And yeah, I'm quite happy with all our centre back options. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think we're well stocked there.
yeah. I thought Maguire's done quite well when he's been called upon as well.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
he's yeah. Last season was the first season I didn't really have any problems with Harry. Away from the responsibility of the captain's armband and all of that, as a rotational option, I thought he was pretty sound, and he was our most consistent and injury-free centre back as well last season. And yeah, when he's called upon, he can do a job. So when I was predicting the lineup for this previous game against Brentford, yeah, my pairing would have been Maguire and Delit, and then I was like, oh wait, Harry's injured, so yeah,
yeah. We've got lots of options in that position.
yeah.
Yeah, we've no options in left back, so it's very very
Yeah,
frustrating.
yeah. Funny enough, this was actually the back four I would have gone for. Obviously, first I had Maguire there, but yeah, yeah, Evans slotting in and Martinez on the left and Dallo on the right. I thought that was the way to go, because obviously, that pairing of Martinez and Delit, I just felt that needs to be split up for a little while because
Mm,
they did not cover themselves in glory.
no, in Porto they certainly didn't, and they were rightfully
Yeah.
dropped against Aston Villa.
Hmm.
Um, maybe they just don't complement each other that well. Uh,
Yeah.
Contrary to people's belief on social media, they actually did not play together at Ajax. They were there at
At
different
separate
times.
spells.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Delit
yeah,
had left. He left when he was 19.
yeah,
It
and
was
he's the
it was the
captain.
same summer that we signed Harry Maguire. Yeah. He was. How crazy is it as well? He was their captain as well.
I reckon that if Ten Hag does end up staying to the end of his contract,
Mm.
and maybe and beyond that, God help us. Um, eventually we will have the entire Ajax team rebuilt at Old Trafford. We're just
Apart
waiting on
from Frankie De Jong,
Dion. Yeah,
that'll be the eluding piece, the final. Yeah, that'll be the one piece that we need that we never get.
yeah, and we could really do with him, because he's
Yeah,
he's a real ball carrier in midfield, isn't he? We don't really
Absolutely,
have one
and
of
he's
those.
yes, he's got legs for days, the energy, and yeah, the impetus of everything we're looking for.
You can see why you wanted him. It's understandable.
Oh, absolutely. Especially now you've got
But
somebody like an Ugarte to screen and protect.
but yeah, the jury's out on Ugarte. If I'm being totally honest, let's
Well,
see. You
yeah,
have
and
to
it
give
doesn't
him a
help.
chance. You have to give him a chance.
Yeah, you have to give him a chance. Yeah, you can't really judge him on these 5 minute cameos. It's kind of shocking as well when you think, oh, £50 million on the bench. 110 if you include him and Mason Mount. £110 million we've got invested in two players that don't start. Make it make sense.
Yeah, it's mad. And
Yeah.
yeah, Anthony is of course on the bench with 85 million pounds. He
Yes.
does.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they will do. They'll be just as ruthless as they were in getting rid of Jadon Sancho with Anthony. Maybe
Yeah,
even in January. I think they'll try and loan him out in January.
yeah. I think United will move heaven and earth to get rid of him next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I think when you look at trying to balance the books and that, obviously we're going to take a huge loss. But even the price they want, I think, might price a few teams out. I've heard rumors that they would want around 40 million, but I can't see anybody paying anywhere near that for Anthony.
No, no. We'd
Yeah,
be lucky to get 14 million.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, it would be sort of what 20, maybe 25 with add-ons, and even that it would have to be after a successful loan spell.
Yeah, I think he made flourish at somewhere like Benfica. I don't know why that's in my mind, but
Yeah,
I just think that they
yeah.
do well in that league.
Funny enough, I agree with that. I think somewhere like that because they've got a track record as well of South Americans in the Portuguese league, and they adapt well. Obviously, fluent in the language as well. Yeah. So if there was any up and coming talents at a Porto or a Benfica, maybe we could do some sort of makeshift part exchange deal in which Anthony is set free.
We already talked about it, Alvaro Fernandez, but but we've got
We've got a buyback on him, so it's all right.
yeah, got a buy back there anyway. So,
Yeah.
but maybe we just give them Anthony as a goodwill gesture in the process. um, Andre Onana made a brilliant save yesterday from a deflected shot. Other than that, I don't think he was that busy.
No.
Um, but he'd be frustrated. He's had the most clean sheets in the Premier League at the
Hmm.
beginning of the weekend anyway, and he was frustrated that because of that goal from the corner when Delict was off the field, that he's
Yeah.
robbed of another clean sheet. But he's had a really positive start of the season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yes, yeah, credit where credit is due. Yeah, it's very eccentric. I'm always happy when he does the right thing.
Yeah, because we have criticized him here on the show, and I want to be fair to him. I don't want to be just.
Absolutely.
I want to think that we have an agenda against certain players. So when he plays well, you have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, and then the save of the month as well, player of the month as well, right? Both of them.
Yeah, Man United Player of the Month and
Yeah, yeah,
Premier
Man
League
United.
Save of the
Yeah,
Month. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the
Yeah, long
the
may it continue. And
the
I
repeat.
know it's hard, especially when the back four keeps changing, because I think for me that the back five has to be the most settled. That's the difference in all the big consistent teams like that. That's where you want the fewest changes. So that can't help matters. Um, and as for his
Yeah,
other eccentric stuff, I just hope he keeps it to a minimal.
that's what's really unfair on him is that he never
Yeah,
has a consistent back four in front of him.
that's the thing. Like when Van der Sar went on that amazing run of clean sheets. Like I don't think
Mm.
we switched the back four.
Ah, that was a dream. It
Yeah,
feels like years ago. 14 clean sheets on the bounce.
yeah, but
Unbelievable.
week in week out, we knew we could name it. Like you had Patrice,
Yeah,
you had Rio, you had Vidic, and you had Wes Brown.
yeah, that was an amazing and somehow that wasn't even our best season in that era. You know,
Yeah,
uh, but there you go. I'd love to see that something like that again. But uh, we're keeping. You see, we've got the most clean sheets in the league, I think, unless it's changed over the course of this weekend. And
hmm,
if we could just get all our forwards firing, then we'd have a great blend there of. But the problem is with
absolutely.
United, and I wanted to touch on this tonight, is that I still feel that once we play one of the top teams, we're going to get battered. I'm not convinced by yesterday, and we've had so many false dawns. So when we have these wins, it's not a turning point for me. We need to win 10 games in a row under Ten Hag to convince me that we're going anywhere. So
Hmm.
I still feel that when we play, we've got Chelsea coming up soon. I think we'll lose that game based on the evidence I've seen this season. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just happy with the 3 points this weekend, Carl.
Yeah, but what
I'm
I'm
not.
just
I'm
making the
not
point
looking
that
ahead.
I'm
I'm not
just making the
looking
point
ahead.
that
Yeah,
we can scrape we can
yeah,
scrape
yeah.
wins at home to
Listen.
the likes of
Hmm.
Brentford, but when we play somebody good, we are not going to beat them. We're not
Anyone,
going to.
anyone top half of the table, it's
Yeah.
going to be a long day, right? Yeah, that's been the pattern.
Even if we went away to Bournemouth at the moment with Arsenal lost the game because they had a sent off.
Yep.
I don't think we'd win that game. Um,
Mm,
and they are ahead of us on goal difference. Their goal
hmm.
difference is 0, and ours is -2, and that's the reason why
I
they're ahead
mean,
of us.
it's better goal difference than going into this weekend. So yeah, we've
Yeah,
chalked one off.
we're up to the mighty heights of 11th position in the
Uh
Premier
huh.
League.
Uh huh.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I'm so
Well,
elated.
technically speaking, joint ninth. You know, goal difference the only thing stopping us from catching Fulham.
But goal difference under Ten Hag is a constant problem.
It is.
It's always going to stop us.
It is, yeah.
You
That
know,
was one of the things, especially with some of the defeats this season. So one of the things that got me really angry actually when I really think about it. Like, you know, 600 million spent, well over that, but yeah, as a rough amount, 600 million spent, third season, and we're here hoping for a positive goal difference. Like, you know how ridiculous
yeah,
that sounds.
yeah. It's madness. The amount of money that we spent under this
Yeah.
coach alone, and
Hmm.
we're struggling. We're still struggling to score goals, and we're still getting battered in games against rivals at home.
Yeah, and it would be
Uh,
nice if we could dish it out as well, but apart from the Barnsley one, that doesn't really happen, does it?
yeah, we have to play a third tier team to batter someone.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Like if it was proper swashbuckle stuff and we had just as many of those kind of victories as we've taken defeats, I think people might look at it differently, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
So I want to touch on Bruno Fernandes. Even though he got that lovely assist with the back heel,
Mm.
I still thought he was very poor overall yesterday. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, but this is the conundrum with Bruno, isn't it? He'll have absolute stinkers, but then if he can pull it out the hat like he did yesterday, you just think, wow, you've got that in your locker. Many a time we've seen the stinkers without that, so I'll take everything that you can give us.
Still has more red cards this season than goals.
Yeah, yeah. Now there's a stat.
He's- so 0 goals and 2 red cards.
Hmm. Hmm. Well,
He
technically
needs,
one, right? Because one got rescinded, didn't it?
yeah, but he needs to improve on that.
He
Yeah,
absolutely does. Yeah, but it's one of those, isn't it? Because he's never going to be out of the team for too long because we just don't have adequate cover or anybody else to step up. So he's always just back in there.
yeah. So yesterday, as we said, we played our most experienced midfield yesterday. Yeah, it's a very good looking midfield if they're all in their prime, but they're
Oh
not.
hell yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, if we could, yeah, if we had a time machine, if the
Mhm.
midfield two were 10 years younger,
Yeah,
it would
but
be a different ball game.
that's another constant theme in the post-Ferguson era that we
Yeah.
signed so many world-class players that are
Hmm.
past their peak, or they're past their peak after 1 or 2 years of being at Old Trafford. It's just
Yeah.
can't. We never get many world-class players, that are under the age of 25. Or even
No,
under the age of 30, really, in
that's
most
the
cases.
thing. That's the thing. That's what needs to change with the recruitment, where we target those who've got the potential to enter that
But
realm of world class.
to be fair, that's what Iniesta are doing now. Even
Yeah.
the sign of Lenny Yarrow is
Hmm.
based on potential, and
Yeah.
rather
Even the
than signing.
Xerxes one, to be fair, because that I think it's one of those signings where it ticks a lot of boxes for them, where they look at the age and the potential and then the fee that was on offer, and they just did some calculations. Probably
Mhm.
in spite of looking at how he would fit in exactly.
The only calculation that they should have been looking at was how many goals he scores, and that column
Mm,
is not impressive. And so
no,
far, it looks like
no.
a bad piece of business. And the last thing that Hoyland needed was someone with his goal record in Italy. You needed someone with a record of scoring
Yeah,
goals to come and help him out.
absolutely.
Probably
You had to somebody that would, help him out, help him with the workload and take that burden off his shoulders.
yeah. The, per- the the perfect double signing up front would have been Harry Kane and Hoyland, in my opinion. But
I
we can
mean,
all
that
dream.
one I understand why they couldn't. Like, obviously, if money was no object, I would have loved that. It would have been perfect. But yeah, I understand economically, like it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But even now, I would
But
look at somebody like a Vlahovic, who
yes,
I think would be very very good. His all round play is good. He scores goals, and he's a bit older as well. I think
and
than Hoyland.
I think Benjamin Sesko is going to end up at a big club in England as well at some
Yes,
point.
again, that's another one. He's developing very well.
So I'm going to do some player ratings now, and I'm actually
Hmm.
excited about this for the first time this season. I think
Makes a change.
because get to dish out some high numbers, which hasn't happened very often this season.
Hmm.
So Onana wasn't his busiest day, but when he was called upon, he made a brilliant save. So I'll say a seven
Yeah.
for Onana.
And if we're being fair to him, if we had 11 men on the pitch, there's a good chance that, he would have kept his clean sheet as well.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Um,
Yeah.
Diogo Dallo, the shadow striker, he gets. I'll give him a six. Yeah, I thought he had a decent game, but I would be worried about him if he's coming up against one of the top teams.
Hmm.
'Cause I don't think he's a great one-on-one defender. And we're looking at Wan-Bissaka's performance yesterday against Spurs. We're not really missing him, are we? Because that was
No,
very poor, I think, in that game. Um, Matthias de Ligt, yeah, um, arguably the man of the match. Some people have given him that accolade, but I'm going to go with somebody else. But he did have a very, very solid game at the back, so we'll
I
give
think
him a
that's,
seven.
yeah, I think it's because of the blood and stuff as well. Because,
Yeah,
we like to see that. I think
and
that's why
and
they give him the edge.
that whole incident, may be why we won the game. You
Hmm.
know, they're still United were still extremely pissed off, apparently in the tunnel
Yes.
as well at half time.
As they should be. And I'll tell you what, like this is like a leadership quality. When a player is willing to go through all of that and still come out strong. Because another man might have asked to be subbed at halftime.
Yeah, Martial would have for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, after because they did that, they made an absolute hash of it. And I wouldn't totally have blamed him if he said, you
And
know what, no, I need to be looked after properly. Look at this, blood is pissing out of
S-
my head.
Sancho's another player who would have came off in that situation.
Mm,
You know, it kind of reminded me of, in a sense, although this is probably more impressive, was Chris Smalling against Wolfsburg under Van Gaal when we'd
mm.
made all our subs and he was injured and he just came on and stood up front because
Listen,
he was,
when 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 Louis renamed him Mike Smalling was a different animal. For that little
yeah,
spell under Van Gaal, Smalling was amazing.
yeah. But and Rooney did it against West Brom in Gary Neville's last ever game as well. Where
Yeah.
all the subs have been made and they've had to go
Hmm.
off injured and then they come back on because they don't want the team
Yeah.
going down to 10 men. So I
Mm.
always love to see that, even though it's probably not the best idea for the player
Yeah,
himself.
yeah, but also it shows sacrifice, doesn't it? The fact that they're willing to do that, it says a lot about them.
Yeah, but of course, there's always the risk that they could worsen the injury by doing
Hmm.
that. But you have to admire it at the same time. So
Yeah.
Delict we get a seven. Johnny Evans an easy seven there as well. Very very rarely lets us
Yeah.
down. And Martinez played out of position, but didn't seem to have many problems on the day. So I
Nope.
would give him a six. Um, Christian Eriksen, as I said, involved in both goals, not in a noticeable way, but when you watch the highlights in detail, you can see the role that
Hmm.
he played, especially in the second one. So I would give him a 6.5. Casemiro, an improved performance, was winning a lot of his tackles when he was going to ground. Some of his passing was wayward and some of it was good. but certainly an improvement in some of the woeful performances we've seen from him in the last year or so. So I give him a 6. Bruno Fernandes, very very poor overall, I thought, and but obviously came up with the goods, by providing an excellent assist for the winning goal, which we've seen Bruno do that so many times. Have a poor game, but contribute to United winning the game, on the same day. So I give him a 5. Okay, might seem a bit harsh, but he was very very poor. Um,
Especially one or two of the misplaced passes as well, because he always tries like
yeah,
forward passes, but when it doesn't make its destination, it's just a silly way to give away
yeah.
possession, isn't it?
He just doesn't understand the concept of keeping it simple and
Yeah.
slowing the game down or keeping the ball. He does these phases don't factor into his brain. He always has to try the Hollywood pass,
You know
and
what?
some
It's what happens after almost a decade at Real Madrid. I think he forgets that he doesn't have that caliber of player to aim for.
no, we're talking about Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still on Casemiro. Uh,
Yeah,
in terms of Bruno, yeah, Hollywood. It's yeah, you can't take that out of his game, can you? When he plays it simple, though, yes, it is. It's very effective. You know what I don't understand about Bruno, right? He can keep it simple for Portugal. He can even play deeper for Portugal.
yeah.
So is that a coaching thing? He can be more disciplined.
Or does he feel that his teammates at Portugal are of a higher standard than his teammates at United? So he feels he has to do less when he's playing for
Mm,
Portugal, and feels that the onus is on him to create at United, and that's why he tries the Hollywood ball so much. I don't know. I'm just guessing, really, as a fan. But yeah, there's times where he just really, really frustrates me when, even
mhm.
when he's 30 yards from his own goal and he tries to backheel and gives it away. That really pisses me
Yeah,
off when he does that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That one infuriated me last or before the international break. Um, the one where he gave it away with the little stupid little flick. Thankfully, Villa didn't capitalize off of it, but it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been costly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really needs to sort himself out. Maybe take the captaincy off him, and then we'll get the real Bruno back, because it seems to be a bit of a curse,
Mm.
the captaincy at the moment,
Bit
because
of a
it's
yeah, bit of a
Maguire
curse with
suffered
the
badly with
armband.
it as well.
Bit of a curse with the
And
armband.
Maguire's got
But
his form
then,
back since being relieved of the armband.
yeah.
So yeah, let, let's give it to someone who already plays. Give it to Anthony, make him captain because he doesn't play, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if I look at anybody with captaincy potential, it would be Leacher and potentially Delit, but because obviously he's got leadership qualities and he's
Well,
been captain before, but you know, you need to
I
see
know
more of them.
I know that doesn't make sense because of his age, but the captain to me
Evans,
should be Johnny Evans. Yeah.
Evans, yes, but you know what? People like Evans, I'm sure he is the natural one of the big voices and experienced leaders in that dressing room.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
he speaks so well in his interviews.
Hmm.
He did a interview there with Melissa Reddy of Sky Sports, and obviously did the
Yep.
post-match interview against Villa. Yeah, he just oozes class, and
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't mind if he was made captain, to be honest. And he's playing regularly now. I imagine they'll have to rest him against Fenerbahce, but you never know with Ten Hag.
Hmm.
He doesn't always do the logical things. Um,
Yeah. And I
so
don't think you have to be the most vocal on the field either. I think there's different styles of leadership. So it might not,
yeah, like
because obviously they all know better than us, right? Because there might be some in the dressing room who, that we don't see, who speak up and are more involved than what we see on the pitch.
yeah, definitely. I remember Mourinho used to refer to Antonio Valencia as the silent captain because he
Yeah.
led by example rather than
Hmm.
keeping
And
his
he did, to be
mouth.
fair. And because I'll tell you
But
what, because I hated him as a winger. But I was pleasantly surprised by the conversion. I think it was first under Van Gaal and then under Jose when he was more right wing back and right back, and he did a much better job there. Stella.
okay, then Marcus Rashford played out of position on the right. Thought he had a really good game despite that, and he obviously contributed to the first goal with David Beckham's cross to the back post. And
Mm,
so I'll give him a 7 for his performance. Rasmus Højlund scoring the winner. Um, he obviously scored against Porto in the Europa League, but glad to see him get off the mark in the Premier League this season, much earlier than he
Yeah.
did last season, and
hmm
hopefully he can go on a scoring run and stay fit. I do
And I
really,
tell you what, I can't stop waxing lyrical about that finish. I really can't, Carl. Like the Porto one, obviously we appreciate all goals that go, all type of goals that go in, right?
did,
But let's
did
be
he
honest, with the Porto one, it was very fortunate. The goalkeeper, absolute clanger by him. But yesterday's finish, though, top draw.
he produced a finish like that against Galatasaray last season in the Champions League, although that was slightly different because he created the goal entirely himself from by running from the
Yeah,
halfway line on that occasion, but it was a similar finish, the wee dink over the
yeah,
goalkeeper.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, for me, he is a he's a much higher ceiling than
I
Joshua Xerxes.
I'll tell you what, I like this one better because this is a better team goal. The fact that he was fed that chance. So, and
Yeah,
this was our issue
yeah.
last season, right? We felt so bad for him because he was running around like a headless chicken. He might as well have been wearing a Fitbit because the ball wasn't getting to him. So this just goes to show what he is capable of if you feed him.
But unsurprisingly, the goal was created by the midfield, not the wingers. The
hmm
wingers do tend to shoot a lot, and
And
that
again, it's because we don't have proper wingers.
yeah, they're inside forwards really, aren't they?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's the
although
thing.
Rashford did cross the ball to the back stick for
hmm
Garnacho, but both of them love to play on the left and cut in and shoot, and it doesn't
hmm
really provide Hoyland with much service from the wide areas. So yeah, unsurprisingly, the goal was created by the number 10.
Funny enough, as
And
critical
just to,
as sorry, go ahead.
just to finish off on the player ratings, Garnacho my man of the match, and I would give him an 8 out of 10.
Mm.
And Ten Hag got the win on the day, so I'll give him a 6. So what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, as much as I criticized Antonio Valencia in his days as a winger, we could do with someone like him now, just an out and out pure
Yeah,
winger whose only goal is to get the ball in the box. Big up, Eddie.
yeah, yeah. He says
Greetings, guys.
great
Great
chip
chip
from
from Hoyland. Wingers need to find him more, but won't get much of that with the Garnacho show. Mm,
Yeah, it really was a Garnacho show yesterday, wasn't it?
yeah,
It was really all about him. Every time he picked up the ball, he was going to run at people and he was going to shoot. It did. It was like there's nobody else on the pitch. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of young Ronaldo yesterday at United.
that's exactly what it was. Yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it? A lot of people forget the early days where there was two step overs and he would fall over.
No, not that young Ronaldo, not the 18-year Ronaldo, more the kind of the 21-year-old where he was actually
Well,
producing
when he started to
and then
come
drop.
into his own. Yeah. Well, there was
Yeah.
elements back then, wasn't there? But then, yeah, yeah.
Well, I want Garnacho to reach the Real Madrid Ronaldo. That's where we want to see him
Ah,
get
that
to.
yeah. But yes,
Mm.
my worry is though if he reaches that, he might actually end up at bloody Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So
No.
it's a double-edged sword.
And he's
I
he's
wanted,
from Madrid as well, isn't he?
yeah, yeah. I wanted to be good, but not that good, so we can keep him
Yeah.
selfishly.
But they're pretty stocked in that area, so hopefully they don't come near us anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And Eddie, yeah, I don't know when you joined us, but we literally spoke about it as well. The lack of output from the wingers and how that is what we really need. We need to start feeding Hoyland.
yeah, I know, definitely. Yeah, Hoyland is a player in there, and we need to get the best out of him, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to be reunited with Jose Mourinho, Fred, and Amrabat on Thursday night in the Europa League. So our first two games have been draws. Not a good draw at home 20, but probably a decent draw away to a team like Porto.
Not the way it
Um,
transpired. I think beforehand, if
no,
somebody said
yeah,
you're going to get a point, well, a draw at a Porto away, we probably would have said, "Oh, fair enough." But the way it transpired, oh, we fluffed it.
Yeah, we were leading 2-0, so it's not great from that point of
Yeah,
view. And it was chaotic, another chaotic performance under Ten Hag. Um,
absolute chaos.
which we need to get a win on the board now in this phase. And Fenerbahce away is going to be another tricky fixture, isn't it, Brush?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The atmosphere in Turkey as well for the big teams, it's yeah, it's quite intimidating. And then obviously Jose is absolutely going to be up for this one. I'm somewhat looking forward to his press conference and stuff as well, because he's going to be box office. And you can just see it now. Like Fred's going to be up for it. If he has a brilliant game, I'm not going to check Twitter.
And in European competitions, Fred showed some of his best form for United. Remember him
Yeah.
scoring against Barcelona
Hmm.
and playing really well in both those legs. And I remember he was obviously brilliant in games against Man City too. Which we won in January 2023, that 2-1 win. He was brilliant that day, doing a good job on De Bruyne. So he's gonna be up against us this time, and we're gonna see what it's like to play against Fred. Like we hope that he has one of his thinkers, but
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
suspect
But
he won't. I
yeah,
suspect he won't.
yeah. We've got a weird track record as well coming up against former players. They all just turn into superstars when we play against.
Yeah, let's hope we don't play in Napoli. I
Yeah, yeah,
dread that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've already seen compilations on the timeline of the things he's doing for them and scoring goals and stuff. I saw this one interview with the owner of a pizzeria who's named a pizza after him. Yeah,
you
it was a Scottish themed pizza, so it was named after him and Billy Gilmore.
yeah, because of course Naples is the home of pizza,
Yeah,
and but I thought that he would be a fan favorite when he went there. I seen that coming a mile
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. Because listen, he gives it his all, doesn't it? So yeah, it's hard to dislike that. And yeah, I'm happy for him, especially in that league with a bit more time and space. Like, yeah, hope he flourishes.
Yeah, I think, and they're going to be in the title race, of course, as well. The way
They're
things are
top of the
going.
table, I believe, at the
Yeah.
moment with the two Milan sides and Juve, and I think
Mm,
there's only like 3 points separating the top six at the moment. It's very interesting.
yeah, it's going to be a huge battle there between. You know, Italy seems to be a place at the moment that's full of very talented coaches, and
Yes, and full of surprises as well, Carl. I think every year in the last since the Juve dominance, faded away, there's been a new champion every single year for like the past 4 years.
mm, yeah, if only the Premier League was like that.
Yeah,
Um, I do have a fear though about this season with Rodri being injured
mm,
and Arsenal constantly getting red cards and blowing
that is going
games.
to be that. Yeah, mm, I
It's
can
going to be
already.
the
Yeah,
23
don't
title for
even say
Liverpool
it. Don't even say it. Don't. Yeah, let's not
because they've
talk
beaten
that instead.
Chelsea today at Anfield as
Yeah, they
well.
won 2-1, didn't they? Yeah, I just saw the score. I'll have to watch the highlights later on.
Only Slot has actually had a better start than any of Klopp's seasons at Liverpool, which is unbelievable. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have predicted that now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know if you remember last season when we were mentioning potential coaches. This was one of the guys I I mentioned and said, "Oh,
mm,
that's if you are over the PTSD of going for a Dutch coach
you
again."
know, yeah, it would just
I
be
don't
our
know if
luck that Liverpool would bring in a Dutch coach and it would work
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, and he's bald.
Yeah, and he absolutely mastered Ten Hag in that 3-0
Hmm.
defeat at Old Trafford in
I think the most
September. The first,
disgusting thing was the way he broke it all down in the interview afterwards.
yeah, it's embarrassing, wasn't it?
It's yeah, it's not on uh not from his point of view, like from ours, like to get totally embarrassed like that and the opposition's coach just breaks down your tactics, like what the hell, making us look like Sunday league players.
Yeah, and then I don't know what was worse, that or the Tottenham game. Though these
Yeah,
defeats are still lingering on my mind, and this is why
yeah,
you know
absolutely.
I'm,
Yeah, the Spurs one, I mean, they turned out without their best player and Son Hyun Min and did what they did to us, and then the following week Spurs did what Spurs do and lost to Brighton.
mm, yeah, although they've since recovered from that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's gonna be massively difficult for us to get into the European spots. Never mind the Champions League this season, the way things are going.
Listen,
But
I am just taking it one game week at a time, my friend.
Yeah.
as soon as
So
as soon
after
as the full
Fenerbahce
time
is
whistle, yeah, as soon as the full
West
time
West
whistle
Ham
went
away.
yesterday,
We should be
yeah,
targeting 3 points in West Ham away there
we
as well. They're not
absolutely
good.
should. I'm not sure if Ten Hag has beaten West Ham. I don't think he has.
Oh, not another stat.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those, and I know they're
Oh
absolutely
no.
terrible at the moment. So it'll be, yeah, but that'll be the game where they turn up. No, Inala.
So expect their best performance of the season then.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Wan-Bissaka, I'll have an absolute blinder against Garnacho.
Yeah, it's written in the stars,
So
isn't it?
hopefully not. So we'll wrap it up
Mhm.
there. Everyone, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, and get more of your comments in, and I will reply to as many of those as possible. And I shall see you again then, Brush.
Yes, and hopefully more of the same, so we can discuss victories.
Yeah, more wins, please.